That Jew stuff, that's just set up, okay? The punchline is that's why we need to get rid of Muslims. So let's skip to the punchline here. Oh, this is just like already gross, no? This is already bizarrely psychosexual. Bro, this guy is fucking unbearable. Selling out is when you allow your military to face the consequences of their actions. You really brought a prop, dude. Little Bobby Jenrick getting out his props for his little comedy show. You're not Tony, bro. You ain't Tony. You ain't Tony. Apparently the Tory party conference has gone terribly. Apparently it's gone fucking awful. So Kemi Badenoch gave her speech. So basically, for those of you that don't know, aren't caught up, don't care, whatever it is, the Conservatives had a massive loss at the last election. They're actually, you know, they get a lot of praise. I say praise. They're like quite important in like politics generally, because they're like one of the most dominant parties in any democracy over the last like 100 years or whatever, where they've just had basically win after win after win a lot of the time. Kept on to power for a fuck ton of time, but they just, you know, obviously Labour just had this landslide victory at the last election after 14 years of them being in power, and it sort of left them fractured, and they've been torn between trying to be the more centrist, like fiscally responsible party, and chasing reform. And it seems like they've decided to just chase reform now. It seems like the way it's going. Because for a long time, the difference between Tories and reform was mainly that, well, not mainly, but one of the big things was the Conservatives didn't want to leave the European Convention on Human Rights, and reform do. Now Conservatives have changed their mind on that. They've now changed their mind, and they've said they do want to leave the ECHR. So that's where we're at now. So that's the background to Kemi Badenoch's speech here. Let's take a look. She's doing terribly as well, by the way. Everyone fucking hates her.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, conference. Thank you. Conservatives love Manchester. It is a great city of free trade and free thinking. 240 years ago, in the 1780s, this was still a small market town, but something was stirring. A spirit of enterprise that would turn Manchester into a global economic powerhouse. And it was back in the 1780s that the very first Jewish community was established in this city. A small group of families worshipping in a rented room in a back alley, just a short walk from where I am standing. And right from the very start, Jewish people have been part.
Yeah, well, it's just like, because there was this terrorist attack last week, everyone has to virtue signal about how much they love Jews for the whole month. So cringe. So fucking annoying.
Of the fabric of Manchester. They've been adding their distinct, unique contribution to this fantastic city, while at the same time embracing Britain as their home. The horrific and despicable attack at Heaton Park Synagogue on Thursday has shocked us all. But for many in the Jewish community, it did not come as a surprise. Many have been living with a sense of rising dread that an attack like this was becoming inevitable. Yesterday, I met members of the congregation and visited the site of the attack. The strength of Manchester's Jewish community is humbling. Targeting the centre of community life on the holiest day of the year was not just an attack on British Jews, it was an attack on all of us. It was an attack on our humanity and our values of freedom, compassion, and respect. It was an attack on the idea that Britain is a safe place for Jews. On Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, Jews take time for introspection, to ask themselves, where have we gone wrong in the past?
I like
and what
so
do we need
don't
to do
care about the Jewish stuff.
We cannot import and tolerate values hostile to our own.
Okay, here we go. This is what she really means to say. Sorry. That Jew stuff, that's just set up, okay? The punchline is that's why we need to get rid of Muslims. So let's skip to the punchline here.
Live in peace. So the message from this conference, from this party, from every decent and right-thinking person in this country must be that we will not stand for it anymore.
Oh my God.
We cannot import and tolerate values hostile to our own. We must now draw a line and say that in Britain, you can think what you like, and within the bounds of the law, you can say what you like, but you have no right to turn our streets into the theatres of intimidation, and we will not let you do so anymore.
I hear Starmer was big mad about the Palestine protests today. I don't think he was mad. I think he probably put out some virtue signaling statement saying, "Oh, isn't it terrible that some people can't just have a bit of respect? Isn't it terrible?"
To our Jewish friends, we stand with you shoulder to shoulder. You are part of the fabric of Britain, and you always will be. We pray for the recovery of the victims still in hospital, and we mourn with you the loss of Adrian Dolby and Melvin Kravitz. May their memories be a blessing. But we must never let terrorism defeat our democratic process. We must demonstrate that it is through political argument, not violence, that we reach our decisions and improve our country. We all know the scale of the challenge we face, the mountain we have to climb. Last year, the public sent us a clear message, one we could not mistake and which we will never forget. They want serious change, for politics to be done differently so our country can get back on track. That's what I promised you when I stood for the leadership of our party, a reset. Politics done differently, politics done properly. A Conservative Party under new leadership, ready to earn the trust of the British people again. In the last 12 months, we started doing politics in a new way. No more making the announcement first and then working out the policy detail second. No more thinking that we can leave quangos and bureaucrats to their own devices and then wonder why we don't see results. No more accepting that our laws can be used as a tool to subvert democratic decisions and basic common sense. An end, once and for all, to the drift of our institutions away from truth, honesty, and decency, and a return to values that define our country at its best. That's what this week is all about.
I hate seeing like any minority start talking about common sense when it comes to like immigration or something like that. It's like, how do you think that's going to be used when it's your turn? How do you think that's going to be used when it's your turn, Kemi? What do you think common sense says about fucking black crime statistics and IQ gaps, IQ distribution? What do you think common sense says about Jews and usury? It's just like, I fucking hate it. I hate the, you know, trash panda behavior. You know? I hate it.
But I didn't say it would be easy, and I didn't say it would be quick. Nothing really worth doing is. Anyone who tells you that there are easy answers to the big questions our country faces is either lying to you or lying to themselves. We are taking a new approach, credible plans rooted in conservative values.
Wow.
Hard though the task is,
conservative values like getting you the fuck out.
Because as one of my great predecessors, Margaret Thatcher, put it, the facts of life are conservative. The facts of life are conservative, conference. The fact that countries, like families, have to live within their means. The fact that individuals know better than governments how best to spend their own money. The fact that freedom depends on order and only works under the rule of law. There is a gap for the responsible, optimistic, competent conservative approach, an approach rooted in values. Values like personal responsibility. As my dad often said to me, only 20% of what happens to you is down to others. 80% is down to your actions and your choices. Like citizenship, a commitment to a country and the people in it. Family, in different shapes and sizes, the bedrock of social stability and the foundation of our society. Freedom, freedom to think, to speak, and to live as each of us chooses. These are the values of British people. They are crying out for a politics rooted in those values, which puts their needs first.
The vote from Thatcher in 2025, desperate and out of touch. It's just like conservative woman play. Everyone fucking hates, or the Conservative Party hates me right now. Guys, I love Thatcher. I love Thatcher. I really want to be like Thatcher. Plus 2 points in the polls.
Conference, they are crying out for a stronger economy, where hard work is rewarded and everyone has a chance to get on. For stronger borders, where we control who comes here and can remove those with no right to stay. This is our political DNA as Conservatives. Our job is to prove to the country that we are the only party that can deliver it. Conference, post-war, Conservatives spread prosperity and built millions of new homes. The bedrock.
Proper Tories like Thatcher, yeah. Yeah. Like die-hard Tories love Thatcher.
The property-owning democracy. In the 1980s, Mrs. Thatcher broke the cycle of high inflation, low growth, and trade union strife, giving Britain back her national pride and economic strength. Labour accuse us of achieving nothing in the 14 years since 2010. I'll tell you what we did. Remember what we inherited from them back then. They spent all the money, sold the gold, piled up debt. Like every Labour government in history, they left unemployment higher than they found it. We were elected to fix it, and Conservatives got to work. We slashed the deficit every year so that when the pandemic hit, we had the means to weather the storm. We reformed our schools to put rigour back into the curriculum. And today, a whole generation of young people will enter the world with better maths and literary skills than any generation before them.
Why did she stop there? Why'd she slip up there?
We got people into work. 4 million new jobs were created, over 1 million new businesses. We gave the British people a choice on our membership of the EU, and we implemented that decision. And what followed? the fastest vaccine rollout in the West, billions of pounds worth of trade deals. No other party would have done these things, but they were right for our country, and we can all be proud of them.
Yeah, literally celebrating the COVID handling. Why not? What's going on right now? What's going on right now? Sorry, what's this? What's this about Tory COVID handling?
Now, the High Court has ruled that a company linked to the former Conservative peer Baroness Mona and her husband Doug Barrowman must repay the UK government almost £122 million for breaching a contract to supply surgical gowns during the pandemic. Well, the PPE MedPro company was sued by the Department of Health and Social Care, which argued that the gowns were not sterile. Zoe Kemi.
This woman looks gone. I think she must have had like that buccal fat shit, right? It must be, because her cheeks are like bizarrely like you know what I mean. I can't think of how to describe it.
PPE MedPro company was sued by the Department of Health and Social Care, which argued that the gowns were not sterile. Zoe Kemi reports.
She's often referred to as a business tycoon.
It was very much, geez, this woman's doing something. This is exciting. She always wanted more.
Michelle Mone was once one of the most famous entrepreneurs in the country. It was an irresistible rags to riches tale. From a working-class upbringing in Glasgow to setting up a lingerie company and making it big.
Advance, create and prefer our trusty and well-beloved Michelle Georgina Mone.
10 years ago, she was made a Conservative peer
of the British Empire.
When the country was in the grip of COVID, the company PPE MedPro, linked to Michelle Mone and her husband Doug Barrowman, was set up. It was awarded a contract for £122 million to supply sterile surgical gowns by accessing what would become known as the government's VIP fast lane for procuring PPE. But tests showed the gowns weren't sterile, and the Department of Health took the company to court. This morning at the High Court, Judge Sarah Cockrell said that PPE MedPro had breached the contract. She said there'd been a failure to comply with the relevant sterility standard, and she found that there had been a failure to comply with the requirement to give the gowns what's called a CE marking. But she said the department could not recover the £8 million cost of storing the unused gowns. PPE MedPro has agreed to pay nearly £122 million to the department in damages.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing. I wasn't trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes.
For years, the couple denied any involvement in PPE MedPro. But in 2023, Michelle Mone finally admitted in a BBC interview that she stood to benefit from the £65 million profit the company made during the pandemic.
I can't see what we've done wrong. Doug and the consortium have simply delivered a delivery contract of goods.
But after everything, you can't see what you've done wrong when you've admitted today that you lied to the press and
that's
by
not
extension
a crime.
You lied to the public.
Laura,
dude, that's not a crime. You lied to the press, you lied to the public about the fucking contract your company took in the pandemic that was meant to fucking provide PPE to save people's fucking lives. What have I done wrong? It's not a crime. Scum. Tory scum.
A delivery contract of goods.
But after everything, you can't see what you've done wrong when you've admitted today that you lied to the press and
that's
by
not
extension
a crime.
You lied to the public.
Laura, saying to the press I'm not involved to protect my family, can I just make this clear? It's not a crime.
Dude.
On Tuesday, PPE MedPro went into administration. The National
Fuck your family. Fuck your family. What about everyone's families that were in fucking hospital in the fucking pandemic?
He began an investigation into the company, which is ongoing. No criminal charges have been brought, and the couple deny any wrongdoing.
Fuck your family.
And conference, we mustn't forget that in each election, from 2010 to 2019, our vote share went up. That's unprecedented in modern history, and the British people don't get it wrong. But if we take pride in what we got right, we also have to face up to what we got wrong. People won't listen to us again until we show them we have learned from our mistakes and changed. We've got to do this, and we have to do it properly. What have we learned? That you can't have a budget that has £150 billion of spending giveaways and billions more in tax cuts without saying where the money is coming from. We have to show that we have learned from the policy mistake of letting bureaucrats decide the immigration system. We failed to bring numbers down and stop the boats, let's be honest. That happened on our watch. Yes, we tried, but put simply, we didn't achieve enough. After years of responsible and effective government, our mistakes on the economy and on immigration lost us the trust and confidence of the public. So we start this week saying we have learned, and we will never repeat the financial irresponsibility of spending commitments without saying where the money is coming from. Never again, conference. This week, we will set out how we have changed, how we will be different, and most importantly, how we will make a difference. Economic responsibility is the hallmark of the Conservative approach, and today it is right back at the heart of everything we stand for. We may be in Manchester, but the theme of economic responsibility will run through this conference like the words in a stick of Blackpool rock.
Wait, they're really appealing? Dude, what? They're appealing the kneecap decision? Really? The Crown Prosecution Service is appealing the throwing out of the kneecap case. That's so retarded.
There are two parts of our message at this conference. Stronger economy, stronger borders. It is stronger borders that I want to talk to you about today.
Wasn't it just filed late? I don't know. But just give up. It's over a fucking flag. Chief Magistrate Paul Goldspring, who sat at Woolwich Crown Court on 26th of September, had said the charge brought against I don't know how to say his fucking Irish name. Mo Cara, I'm pretty sure it is, right? Unlawful, and they had no jurisdiction to try the case. I can't say his actual name. His ruling agreed with Mo Cara's lawyers, who argued that the Attorney General had not given permission for the case to be brought against the defendant when police informed him he was to face a terror charge on 21st of May. Concluding the reasons for his decision, Chief Magistrate said, "I find these proceedings were not instituted in the correct form, lacking the necessary DPP, Director of Public Prosecutions, and Attorney General consent within the 6-month statutory time limit. The time limit requires consent to have been granted at the time or before the issue of the requisition," he continued. "Consequently, the charge is unlawful and null, and this court has no jurisdiction to try the charge." Prosecutor Michael Bisgrove previously told a court that permission from the DPP and AG was not required until the defendant's first court appearance, and the permission did not need to be sought in order to bring a criminal charge. The Chief Magistrate dismissed the arguments, telling the court they defy logic. The decision to appeal against the judgment comes as Attorney General Lord Hermer warned Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick not to prejudice further proceedings against Mo Cara, asking him to carefully consider any further public comments. Mr. Jenrick had previously written to Lord Hermer, calling for an urgent inquiry into the issue, claiming it raised serious questions about the competence of all involved. We're going to be looking at Robert Jenrick in a minute. Prosecutors allege that Mo Cara can be seen in a recording of a gig at the O2 Forum in Kentish Town, North London, which shows him wearing and displaying the flag of Hezbollah while saying, "Up Hamas, up Hezbollah." After the hearing last month, he said, "This entire process was never about me." Yeah, okay. Don't care about what Mo Cara was saying. Yeah, fuck Robert Jenrick, as always.
I was elected leader because I promised to renew this party and our policies, so we can win the next election and then rewire the state to make it work for people again. We are not interested in superficial fixes. Instead, we are taking a systemic approach, asking the difficult questions that others avoid. We have the courage to follow through with credible plans to answer them. It's the rigorous, practical, conservative way. And on so many of those questions, the answers come back to the same thing. Why is it that every time we try to build anything in this country, we have to spend millions of pounds on paperwork and still get bogged down in litigation? Why are protesters allowed to block roads and disrupt lives time and time?
Yeah, exactly. It feels like if you don't seek the prosecution, like the necessary steps for the prosecution and the time limit, well, you're kind of fucked, no? What else can you do? Like, that you shouldn't bring that case back just because people will be really upset if you don't. You know?
Time again. Why are our veterans relentlessly chased through the courts by activist lawyers? Why couldn't we deport those foreign nationals who raped girls in communities across the UK? Why do we still allow them to remain in the very same towns where their victims live? Why?
I'm pretty sure a bunch of this ECHR stuff is just like total nonsense as well, or like crying and bleating about it. I'm pretty sure a lot of the issues with it actually just come down to our own law. And by just like reinterpreting, like you could change, I think there's like slight tweaks we want to make to the interpretation of the ECHR. And like how it interacts with our law or something. But apparently it's like not even that big of a deal. And that a lot of, I think, I get the vibe. A lot of this ECHR stuff, I fear, is driven by Farage and other reform retards, because if we left the ECHR, there's some thing with Europe, there's some part of our Brexit deal with Europe that would be fucked over if we left the ECHR. I can't remember what it is, something economic with our Brexit deal that would be fucked over if we left the ECHR. I think it's just a Trojan horse for that. It's just trying to weaken ties to Europe even further. Because, you know, Farage is like a total puppet for other interests.
It is fundamental. Why can't we control our borders and remove those who need to go? All these questions boil down to who should make the laws that govern the United Kingdom. Conservatives believe it should be our sovereign parliament, accountable to the British people. The reality today is that this is simply not the case. I saw it again and again in government. So often we had the right instincts and the right policies, but our hands were tied by a system that frustrated democratic control. This use of litigation as a political weapon is what I call lawfare. Well-meaning treaties and statutes like the European Convention on Human Rights and the...
Because the thing is, I think the ECHR means that you have to, like, do certain things with refugees. Like, you have to do, like, appeals or some shit. That's, like, part of what it's about. But all the stuff that holds up deportations is going through our courts. It's not usually going through European courts. It's usually getting held up in our courts. So we have to change our courts. We can't just leave the ECHR and expect it all to fix.
European Convention on Action Against Trafficking, drafted with the best of intentions in generations gone by, and more recent additions, like the Modern Slavery Act, are now being used in ways never intended by their original authors. What should be shields to protect the vulnerable have instead become swords to attack democratic decisions and frustrate common sense.
Okay, this picture is like totally unbearable. And she ain't said anything interesting. Let's try Robert Jenrick.
Thank you. Well, hello, conference. And it is great to see you all today. Isn't Donna brilliant? Famous blondes. 4 famous blondes who tell the story of the predicament that our party is in today.
Ugh. Dude, isn't this... Oh, this is just like already gross, no? What are you talking about? 4 famous blondes. What are you talking about, dude? This is already bizarrely psychosexual.
And how we're going to get out of it. Because right now, it's true. It's tough being a Tory. 6 months ago...
How tall is Jenrick? How tall is Robert Jenrick? How tall is Boris Johnson? 1.75 meters in feet. I don't know the conversion. 5'9". So Robert Jenrick is like 5'6", 5'7". You think that's 5'4"? You think that's a full 5? I could see a full 5 inches. 1 minute. Robert Jenrick and Rishi Sunak. So it's hard because he is sort of raised. I think they are basically the same height. Rishi's 5'7". I feel like Jenrick's like 5'6", 5'7". I feel like he's around 5'6". It's tough though because his back foot is up, but then it's like he's resting on this foot. That's tough, man. That's tough.
The Tory legend, Sir Michael Fabricant, went on the Big Brother house. He lasted 4 days. Last week, one of our party's most energetic campaigners, Emily Hewitson, entered the Big Brother house. She lasted 11 hours. She didn't even get to spend the night. And now, conference. I've heard...
Oh, brilliant. Grok has come in. Robert Jenrick is approximately 5 feet 5 inches tall, according to multiple biographical sources. Oh, we're the same height.
That a third Tory blonde is in negotiations to enter the Big Brother house. Liz Truss. But the negotiations have broken down, conference. She's asking to be paid by the minute. Too soon, perhaps. Too soon. Look, I'll come back to the blondes in a moment.
Yeah, I'm 5'5".
But, conference, it's not all doom and gloom right now. Last month, I received some good news. Courtesy, surprisingly, of Angela Rayner. Keir Starmer's emergency reshuffle, otherwise known as, remember, Phase 2. Anyone remember that? Well, I think Keir Starmer would like to forget it as well. Anyway, it led to a great privilege for me. I now shadow a new Justice Secretary, David Lammy. Now, David Lammy had...
Oh my god, I'm cringing. He's trying to be like casual, like affable, like you know, like at ease. You know, it's very cringe immediately. Him trying to go into this.
Now, David Lammy.
I hate this.
Now, David Lammy.
I hate this. I hate when people do this. They're like forced, casual, affable change.
David Lammy. Now,
yeah, try and pretend he's like a real person.
Has a somewhat checkered past. You might recall his appearance on the BBC's Celebrity Mastermind. David Lammy, Celebrity Mastermind. You do not need to be a lawyer to know that that is a violation of the Trade Descriptions Act.
What a lame joke. What a lame joke. And yeah, he's so pleasant. He's so smug about it. He's like, yeah, like, guys, seriously. In fact, this is going to be like a 24-hour timeout now. If you immediately go to say muted when it's like someone's just said something crazy. Obviously, I'm not just muted. This is going to be a straight 24-hour timeout. Because you clearly weren't paying attention.
He was asked.
We're just typing in chat without paying attention. It's crazy.
Blue cheese is paired with port. He replied, red
In fact,
Leicester.
we're just going to start doing, I think I'm just going to start being brutal with timeouts. Some people are just like really unfunny as well. I noticed that earlier. I had a moment earlier. I was like, wow, there's some really like not funny jokes in chat right now. I think if you say too many unfunny things, I'm just going to time you out without saying anything. I think that's the way we're going. I think that's the direction it's heading.
It gets worse. It gets worse. Which Marie won the Nobel Prize for Physics? He replied instantly, Marie Antoinette. And my personal favourite, which monarch
yeah, no coal. Keep the coal out.
Succeeded Henry VIII? His answer, Henry VII. I'm not sure Mastermind was the show for David. Perhaps he could try Pointless. He would work as both a contestant and an answer. But look, in all seriousness, it is great to be here in Manchester, in the proud,
dude, this is unbearable.
city.
Why is he trying to do a fucking comedy set? I can't take it from chat and Jenrick at the same time. Bro, this guy is fucking unbearable.
Of Manchester, a city that has given our country so much, but which has also suffered great tragedy. Most recently last week, when Heaton Park Synagogue was attacked. It was an attack on all of us. Thoughts and prayers, yes, absolutely. But I don't know about you, but I'm fed up with platitudes.
Wow.
We've had enough of those, haven't we? I believe in justice and action. Whilst other parties have waxed and waned, I am so proud that our party, the Conservative Party, has always stood with our Jewish community. And under Kemi's leadership, I know we always will. Because conference, a Britain where our British Jewish friends are afraid is not Britain. And we will never stand for it.
Well, that was Britain for centuries. No, that was Britain for a long, long time. I thought you guys were all about the history. I thought these guys are all about the history and return to tradition and all this stuff. Actually, for a very, very long time, Britain did not want Jews here. It's only really counter-signaling to Germans that made people like Jews, to be honest. It's just we hate Germans so much, hate Germans and Muslims so much. We counter-signal that we actually like Jews. I say we, you know, I'm sort of stuck between these two a little bit, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying here. You know what I'm getting at. Yeah, exactly. It took even time like past 45. You know, it's not even like people didn't even want them in World War II. They didn't want them after World War II. It's only as people have grown to think, oh, how awesome were we in World War II? How fucking awesome was the Allies in World War II? How fucking epic? Oh, fuck Germans and Nazis. That's when Jews became cool to have in your country, you know?
Anniversary of another devastating attack on Manchester. The IRA unleashed the biggest bomb to explode in England since the Second World War. In more recent times, long after the Troubles ended, IRA members used so-called human rights laws to sue the British government for compensation. while dragging our soldiers through the courts. To stop this injustice.
Yeah, good. Hello, good. Yes, good. Problem? Yeah, I don't want to be fucking Israel. Sorry. Correct, yeah. Sometimes soldiers have to go through courts. Problem?
Conservative government passed the Legacy Act. We took the side of our brave servicemen, the side of the victims, and above all, the side of the decent people of Britain. We refused to give in. That is something everyone in this room should be truly proud of. Now, I had a moral reason to back that bill, but I also had a personal one. Like most Saturdays, my nan and granddad, Ivy and Sid, were here. They're in Manchester city centre when the bomb went off. And we heard about it back home on the radio, and we had an anxious couple of hours whilst we waited until finally we heard that my grandparents had arrived home safely and weren't hurt. Fast forward to today, and elderly veterans who risked their lives to protect us from terrorists like those who bombed this city face spending their dying days being dragged through the courts. Why? Because Labour wants to repeal our Legacy Act. It is shameful. Let that sink in. The last generation's heroes betrayed by this generation's sellouts. It's not right. It's not justice.
Sellouts.
And conference...
Selling out is when you allow your military to face the consequences of their actions. That's called selling out, apparently.
Ever on our watch. Now, we all knew that Keir Starmer would be a bad Prime Minister.
Voice crack. Voice crack. He fucked it up.
That Keir Starmer would be a bad Prime Minister. But I don't think anyone anticipated he would be this bad. He's combined the management style of David Brent with the administrative grip of Blackadder's Baldrick. He's proven himself to be
I'd love to see Keir do a David Brent dance.
Free speech stifling, criminal releasing, tax raising, farmer hating, Brexit betraying, aspiration sapping, sorry excuse
dude, this
for
guy
a leader.
sucks. The Tories suck so bad, dude. Holy fuck, I can't stand Jenrick. Oh my god.
And conference.
He's so cringe.
And conference.
You have to remember as well, this guy's doing this. He's doing this whole little fucking Brexit betraying, you know, counting thing, standing on a fucking box. 5'5" in stature, standing on a fucking box. And Brexit betraying.
He's proven himself to be a freebie grabbing, free speech stifling, criminal releasing, tax raising, farmer hating, Brexit betraying, aspiration sapping, sorry excuse for a leader. And conference. And conference. This is someone who makes a hole in the air look substantial. Peter Mandelson appeared trustworthy, and Mr. Bean looked like a model of competence and grip. But despite
epic pop culture references, man. Is that all you're doing for this speech? Is that all you had for this speech? Just pop culture references? Is that where the Tories are at?
Despite all this, and this might surprise you, I think we've got reason to be optimistic. And that's because in ways that matter most profoundly. The fantasists, masquerading as experts, are seeing their myths busted. The people got it right, while they got it wrong. Wrong on mass migration, wrong on free speech, wrong on net zero, wrong on two-tier justice. Make no mistake, the old... Oh,
I saw this brilliant YouGov article come out today. Finally, people are asking good questions about policy. We are finally asking the real questions. Should there be national service for boomers? This is groundbreaking. This is groundbreaking, and I am fully on board. I am fully on board. YouGov test of German think tank proposals finds the public are divided on whether young workers or richer pensioners should have greater responsibility for helping poorer pensioners. Is rich pensioners. That's who. Dude, how is that only 3% strongly support? I'm in the 3% of Britons who strongly support, even in my age group. Dude, 65 plus want it more than everyone else? Dude, they should have to do it. They should. We should make them work. Make them work. This is such a good idea. It's such a good policy idea. Oh my god, I hate people so much. Look, you get your retirement, just give a year to the government. Give 2 years to the government. 65 to 67. 2 years to the government, and you can have the rest of your life. Yeah, legit stylo. Like, why are people so, like, fucking owned? They're owned by the fucking, I don't even know, boomer media apparatus.
Order. It's collapsing. For too long, the chattering classes drowned out the voice of the people. Our job, conference, is to make sure that the people's will prevails. But it won't be easy. It won't be easy. Because right now, the gap between the government and the governed is wider than ever before. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you one example of that great gulf. I present to you the Attorney General, Richard Hermer. Like one of those infamous mafia lawyers of yesteryear, Hermer always chose a particular type of client. Shamima Begum, Osama bin Laden's right-hand man.
Dude, we're crying about fucking people doing legal work for immigrants and shit, and fucking people being attacked by the Home Office. Is that really what we're fucking going after? It's so retarded, man. I hate this attack that Tory started doing, that Reform started doing, where it's like, oh, the lefty lawyers, all these lefty judges. It's so fucking cringe, dude. Why are you going after individual lawyers, individual judges? If you want the, like, decision-making to change, you need to change, like, the guidance on the cases and shit. You can't just go, oh, well, all these lefty lawyers just always bring up these appeals. Yeah, they're allowed to bring appeals. Change the guidance for the judges.
Hermer always chose a particular type of client. Shamima Begum, Osama bin Laden's right-hand man. Terrorists involved in 7/7. Since taking office, the advice we're told Lord Hermer has given to Starmer and his cronies, like to give away the Chagos Islands to an ally of China and to pay billions of pounds for the privilege in each and every one.
Okay, dude, that is the most retarded, low IQ misrepresentation of what happened with the fucking Chagos Islands. Dude, it had literally been ruled that we couldn't keep them. It was illegal. But like, it's like this whole thing that went through the UN. Like, it all went through. All these fucking court cases in the UN went through. We couldn't keep them. A deal had to be made. If we didn't make a deal, then we would lose them, and then China would be able to just use them. We have a deal. so that we can use them and keep exclusivity, keep China out. That's why we're spending a bunch of fucking money. It's so dumb. What? So we just keep breaking international law? That's your suggestion? Fuck the UN. Just ignore international law. Wow, awesome. Fucking awesome party, really.
One of these incidents. He's wasted no time establishing himself as a useful idiot for our enemies. His rise symbolizes the central truth of Keir Starmer's government. Labour is just not on Britain's side. Why on earth? Why on earth? Thank you. Why on earth would Britain's Attorney General change the law to enable our country's enemies to sue the very government that he represents? Well, it makes more sense when you realise that another of Lord Hermer's old clients was, you guessed it, Gerry Adams. Gerry Adams. Not long ago, a man with his past would have had no place in mainstream politics. Now he sits round the cabinet table and he influences the biggest decisions about our country. The same cabinet table that the IRA tried to blow up in 1991. Shame on him, and shame on the man who appointed him. Now, last week at Labour conference, Labour lined up to attack me for scrutinising judges, for mind-bogglingly absurd judgments, like the Albanian criminal who avoided deportation because his son didn't like the taste of chicken nuggets in Albania. Labour just don't get it. They don't get it.
Who's Gerry Adams? Old Irish nationalist, Irish Republican politician.
They really don't. Now, you might be wondering, what have I got in this box? Well, don't worry.
You brought props? You really brought a prop, dude? Little Bobby Jenrick getting out his props for his little comedy show, or his talent show.
I'm not about to do a Michael Fabricant tribute act. This is actually serious. For those of you at the back of the room who can't see, I have here a judge's wig.
Wow.
It's something we should all respect and revere. When a judge dons a wig, it signifies the transition from their everyday personality, their identity, to that of a legal arbiter. It's a visual representation of the judge's role as an unbiased mediator, focused solely, only, on upholding the law and delivering justice. An unbiased mediator. That is what a judge should be. And that is what the vast majority of judges in our legal system do. They wear the wig. They respect and revere it. And that is why, in turn, our legal system is respected and revered all around
because of the wigs.
The world.
Because of the wigs. That's what people respect and revere. They're like the wigs. It's about the wigs.
But we've got a problem. Conference, we have a problem. It's one that Labour choose to ignore. Today, I've uncovered dozens of judges with links to Open Borders charities who take to social media to broadcast their Open Borders views, who spent their whole careers fighting to keep illegal migrants in this country.
Wow, wait, whoa, Bobby, little Bobby, take it easy there. Are you really telling me that people with expertise in immigration a legal field which doesn't have a lot of money in it and does have a lot of stress and nightmarish cases to deal with. You're telling me that people that get into that legal field oftentimes have an interest in that legal field and strong opinions about that legal field, and they carry those views even when they work up? Whoa, no way. This must be a massive conspiracy and something that doesn't happen in every other country. And it actually requires us to disbar all those judges. Like, just get rid of them. Just totally get rid of them. Instead of just changing the guidance. And leave the ECHR as well, actually. Instead of just changing the guidance.
Some even continue to do so whilst astonishingly serving as judges. It's like finding out halfway through a football match that the ref is actually a season ticket holder for the other side.
So, obviously, judges, all judges are going to have opinions. Being an impartial mediator does not mean you don't have an opinion. It's about the decision making, right? Judges can have whatever political opinions they want in their own time. But as long as they're doing their job, they're interpreting the law as it's written, and based on precedent and all that.
The public rightly ask, how independent are they? They dishonour generations of independent jurists who came before them, and they undermine the people's trust in the law itself. Judges who blur the line between adjudication and activism can have no place in our justice system. Which is why we won't just tinker with a broken system and reform immigration tribunals. We will abolish them. Once.
No tribunals. See, dude, it's just so retarded. It's so retarded. Almost none of these appeals that he's talking about, by the way, for these deportations get approved, by the way. Like, almost all of them get fucking rejected in the end. Like, the cases that people get upset about, where there's an appeal, where it's like, oh, this person is like a terrible person, they're still getting an appeal. They all get fucking denied. They all end up getting denied. So few of these ever get approved. Like, anytime you hear it in the news, it ends up getting fucking rejected.
Which is why we won't just tinker with a broken system and reform immigration tribunals. We will abolish them. Once and for all. And we won't stop there. We will restore the proper role of our judiciary, putting ultimate power back where it belongs, in the hands of Parliament and ministers, accountable to you, the people of our country. So I can announce today that we will restore the office of the Lord Chancellor to its former glory. We will reverse the constitutional vandalism of Tony Blair and New Labour. The Lord Chancellor will once again appoint the judges. No more quangos. And they will be instructed never to permit political activists of any political hue to don the wig ever again.
So judges can't have political... You're going to run out of judges for a lot of fields very quick. I'm sorry. Judges were lawyers, and lawyers were law students, and law students tend to have opinions, okay? I don't know how to explain this to you any other way, but that carries on. That's how it goes.
They will also be responsible for issuing new sentencing guidelines. The two-tier sentencing council is not fit for purpose, so it must be abolished altogether. Never again will this country and our people face the prospect of two-tier justice under two-tier care. Every single...
Oh, God, so cringe, dude. You're literally a year and a half late. No one even says that one anymore. Dude, no one even says that one anymore. They don't even say that anymore.
Person. Every single person treated exactly the same. Not equity, equality.
Yes, Jenrick.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Conservative. No, that is the British way to do justice. Now,
not only is he an awful speaker and incredibly unauthentic, but he's also 5'5", which is a real problem. Thank you for the $5, Kimberly. Thank you. No energy in this conference. They've failed to fill rooms. I've seen like videos going around. I'm about to try and look for them. They haven't been able to fill like speeches, the audience for speeches at this conference. Usually it's packed. Tory's very popular usually. They've not been able to fill the speech like conference room multiple times.
Now, I know you are all wondering, who's the fourth blonde that I mentioned at the beginning? The one who will point the way to how we recover the fortunes of our party. Is it Margaret Thatcher? Not this time. Is it Boris Johnson? No. Lord Heseltine. Bear with me. As you can imagine, Michael
Dude, he's so cringe. It's just like the like forced asides, the like attempt to be like personable. It's just like so fucking bearable, dude. I can't take it. Whenever he leans in. You're not Tony, bro. You ain't Tony. You ain't Tony. Don't lean in like that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
And I do not agree on everything. But he told me that when he was a young man, in opposition back in the
School assembly drug
under
counselor,
Margaret Thatcher, he would wake up every morning and he'd ask his wife, how am I going to fight Labour today? And at the end of...
Oh, dude. It's making me sick. I feel sick. I feel in pain. Yeah, what's with the fight? Dude. Yuck, man. Yuck. He thinks he's like, he either thinks he's Trump or he thinks... I honestly think he is trying to ape Blair a little bit. I honestly think he is. Yeah, he thinks he's Blair, but he's giving trust.
Madam Speaker,
it's like I'm getting sort of
the politics of conviction that he could put his manifesto to do that. Has he still?
He thinks he's hitting one of these
to stand on his and the government's position.
Right, honourable gentleman, is just being plain silly. Is he telling this House that the right honourable gentleman, the honourable member for Bolsover, the right honourable gentleman for Chesterfield...
Extraordinary. Isn't it extraordinary?
He thinks he's doing one of these.
That the Prime Minister of our country can't even urge his party to support his own position. Yeah. Weak.
He thinks he's hitting one of those. But he ain't.
And it asked him, he was a young man in opposition back in the 1970s under Margaret Thatcher. He would wake up every morning and he'd ask his wife, how am I going to fight Labour today? And at the end of the day, he would lie in bed again and he would ask his wife, well, he obviously wasn't...
I'm sorry, but how has Keir had the best speech out of any of the party conferences? How has Keir managed that? Explain that one to me.
A very romantic man. Tomorrow, how am I going to fight Labour? Now, I don't say that.
Charisma recession.
But I do think it. And that is what each and every one of us must do. Fight this failing Labour government. Fight for the future of our country.
Yeah, it's how pleased he is with himself after like every delivery too. Because the thing is, here's the thing. I think I can see into this guy's psychology a bit. I can see into little Bobby Jenrick's psychology a little bit here. He feels like the way is kind of clear. Like, he is the only viable contender for Tory leadership. Badenoch is not going to lead him into the next election. There's no way they'll risk that. The membership will not risk that. So he sort of sees the way as clear. So he's like, okay, how do I really capitalize and drum up some support here? How do I really capitalize and drum up some support here? And he's tried to pull out like every little stop that he thinks he can. Every little like Trumpism, bit from Farage, trying to turn himself into like this leader, and it just does not fucking hit. It's like, it's a total layup to Tory members because there's no one else. But you should be able to do so much more with this. Like, you should be so much better. But you're not. So why the fuck are you so pleased with yourself?
One of us must do. Fight this failing Labour government. Fight for the future of our country. And when we fight, we win. Like forcing Sadiq Khan to go after those fare dodgers who blight the capital, stopping two-tier sentencing rules and guidelines, and ensuring there is equality before the law for everyone. And most importantly, led by Kemi, shaming the Labour government to ensure there is a full national inquiry into the rape gang scandal. Don't let anyone tell you. Don't let anyone tell you that opposition is pointless. It matters. And right now, with this government, it matters more than ever. And conference, your support matters too. To the door knockers, the pavement pounders, the envelope stuffers, the tweeters, the TikTokers, the members, the councillors across the length and breadth of this country. Let me say to you...
The thing is, like, who the fuck does this hit for? Who does this hit for? If you're, like, any sort of reasonable, well-meaning, intelligent person, Keir's speech hit, okay? That's like, you know, it's just facts. For anyone in, to be honest, most of the Western world, whether you're in America, Europe, or the UK, there is kind of like a very deeply rooted ideological war between like civil normal society and like total rape death fascism, you know, total rape to death every minority fascism. That is a thing that's happening, and it resonates when you point that out and say, yeah, they're the enemy. That's awesome. That hits. Greens hit if you are retarded. If you have a mental disability, Zach Polanski goes crazy. Nigel Farage hits if you're an alcoholic who beats his wife and rapes his kids. If you are an alcoholic who's age 45 and you beat your wife and you rape your children, you are probably watching Nigel Farage's speech going, yeah, come on, yeah, come on, anytime he talks. Who the fuck does Robert Jenrick hit for? Who the fuck? It doesn't hit for the fiscally sensible, you know, small government, conservative, classic Tory, Thatcher, you know. It doesn't hit for them whatsoever. It does not hit for no such thing as society, whatever the fuck. Doesn't hit. Does not hit for those people at all. That's not what he's saying. Nowhere near that. It doesn't hit for the reform base. It doesn't hit for anti-immigration people because they care about Nigel Farage. He was on it way earlier, and Tory's already shown they're incompetent at it. So, Seriously, who is this for? I just don't see it. Who is sitting there watching Robert Jenrick talk about this yeah, Rob, this Jenrick guy seems alright. This guy's got it together. Yeah, it feels like there isn't really an angle. I feel like the only angle is basically a purge, you know? It's basically say, fuck anyone that had any significant role in the last government. I mean, that's difficult because they went through so many people in like the government last time, like in the cabinet and shit. Like, anyone that was too, like, they cycled through people so much that everyone has kind of an association, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of tough. But I think they basically need to say, let's reset. Fuck everyone that fucked the country up. We're back to we're back to being the fiscally conservative, you know, economy-focused, business-focused party. Looking after the farmers and whatever the fuck. Yeah, stick to that. Drop the immigration shit. Just drop the immigration shit entirely. I don't know why they're trying to fight reform on that. Say, like, yeah, we should control our borders, but why are you making it a centerpiece? You're losing on that, totally.
Each day, in all...
Yeah, anti-gay marriage, anti-gays in schools, anti-trans, anti-Sharia courts, and whatever the fuck. Yeah, also, why are they not single... I don't know why they're not singling anti-trans harder. I suppose trans people are just totally driven underground in the UK for the most part. You don't really have to fucking look at them these days.
All kinds of ways you are getting things done, far away from the wood-panelled corridors of Westminster. I say thank you. Thank you.
No, this is the Tory
conference.
conference.
That you are doing. You are making our country a better place. And please, though it may feel tough, don't ever forget what you are doing for all of us right now. Thank you. Now we all know that feeling when you've eaten too much and you simply think, enough. As those of you who've known me for a while will know, I used to feel that a lot more than I do today.
Guys, that's because he used to be fat, but then he got on Zempi. It's because he got on Zempi because he used to be fat. He used to be a fat little guy. Now he's a skinny little guy.
But speaking to people out in the country, I think the British people are using that same word, enough. Enough of being overlooked. Enough of being treated like fools. They see it, don't they? When they watch freeloaders brazenly walk out of shops laden with goods they haven't paid for. They hear it.
Yeah, it's just like all the time. Just all the time. Crime is just so rampant in the UK.
Morons blast music in public places.
Dude, just say the N-word already, man. Holy fuck. This guy is like building up to a crazy N-word drop here. You know, you know what type of people I hate? I hate people who go into shops and take things without paying. I hate people who sit around in public playing loud music out of their phone. Yeah, dude, what is it? What is it? I'm loud and obnoxious. I like music that rhymes. I'm 13% of the population, but commit 50% of the crimes. What am I?
Brazenly walk out of shops laden with goods they haven't paid for. They hear it when morons blast music in public places with utter disregard for others. And they feel it when they see the police ignore all these things. Yet, find time to knock on someone's door and scold them for a post on social media.
Yeah.
Dismissed.
Just always happening, isn't it? It's just
derided,
these days.
Demeaned for so long.
These days, if you say you're English, you'll be arrested and thrown in jail. Just saying you're English, yeah. Just Just for saying your English these days, you'll be arrested and thrown in jail. Really, you'll be thrown in jail just for saying your English. Yeah, these days you go on Twitter and you say your English, police will come around to your house, they'll knock on your door, they'll put you in handcuffs, they'll take you to the station, and they'll put you in jail just for saying your English. Really, a tweet saying your English and you'll be arrested and thrown in jail. Yeah, these days you'll be arrested and thrown in jail just for saying your English.
The British people are patient and they are tolerant, but only up to a point. They've had enough. Now, I've read countless stories about how...
Naga, can I pull up that video that you put in Spicy? I saw you put a video that had Rory Stewart's face as the preview. Is that safe for stream? Hey, real? Rory wouldn't be shit. Rory would be awesome.
Down 999 is a good time. Who the fuck are you? I'm a brat when I'm bumping that. No, I wanna hit my track. Are you bumping that? Till the windows crack, I'll be bumping that. No, I'll never go home, don't sleep, don't eat. Just do it on repeat. Keep. I'm in the club, yeah, I'm 365 party girl. Should we do a little pee? Should we have a little line? Wanna do a real while when I'm meet me in the bathroom with you. 365 party girl. French money girl with a visitor. I look hot when I'm... No, I really don't.
That's so good. Rory Stewart's awesome. Rory Stewart's awesome. He was terrible in his leadership campaign, I've got to be real. But this was...
Absolutely, I was not a spy. I'm very, very proud to have served my country.
But surely a spy would tell us that he wasn't a spy.
That's always the problem with that question. You put your finger on the problem with that question.
He's so cool. His dad was the head of MI5, or MI6, whatever.
Talented young people are abandoning the UK. They're emigrating to Dubai or Singapore or Australia, and not just because of the weather. Conference, this is my message to you. We may be a little bit down, but our country is not out, because there is a better way. There is so much good in our country that's worth fighting for. We've got so much to cherish about who we are. Blue remembered hills seen from black country towns, big skies over the flat acres of Nottinghamshire, the best farmers, food and drink, beer in the world.
Oh dear. So many good moments from Rory Stewart.
Now this opium business, you smoked opium in Iran, it was against the law when you did it in Iran, wasn't it?
Yes.
So do you think someone who breaks the law on a Class A drug is fit to be Prime Minister?
So I think it was a very stupid mistake. And I did it 15 years ago, and I actually went on in Iran to see the damage that opium was doing to communities. I've seen it as a prisons minister. It's something that was very wrong. I made a stupid mistake. I was at a wedding in a large community meeting, and somebody passed around this pipe around the room, and I smoked it. I shouldn't have done it. I was wrong.
Okay, we'll do it.
So cool. I was at a wedding. Someone passed me the opium. I shouldn't have done it.
From Aberdeen Angus steaks to Hawkstone lager, a love of pubs, our love of animals, the common law, jury trials, a royal family so admired that they make the most powerful man in the world go weak at the knees. A military that has defeated every force on the planet. The roar of the crowd at Twickenham as the Red Roses beat the Canadians. Or Chris Wokes, arm in a sling, goes out to bat at the Oval. The quiet kindness of our hospice movement, the millions of volunteers whose helping hands and broad shoulders make our society strong, the spirit of builders, of makers, of doers, of givers. These are the reasons our hearts swell when we think of Britain. I see it, Conference, and so do you. I see it when I travel around our country, even making the occasional video. I've developed a Michael Portillo-esque knowledge of Britain's motorway service stations. So if you're watching hello to my friends at Greg's, at Peterborough North Services. You might see me later this week. But above all, as I've been visiting communities, I've asked a lot of questions.
This guy's so lame,
and I'm telling you, out there, the spirit is strong. I felt it when I went to Epping and stood with mums, local mums, sick of illegal migration and determined to
Why don't they spend more time looking after their fucking kids and less time at protests? The problems with those kids' lives, the problem with that fucking whatever old bitch you spoke to's life is not the immigrant hotel down the road, trust me.
I felt it when I went out with tradesmen, gas fitters like my dad, sick of their livelihoods being wrecked when scumbags break into their vans and nick their tools and sell them in plain sight at a local car boot sale. I felt it when I talked to folk putting up flags, sick of their identity being sneered at. The collapse of the old order is in sight. A new one is coming because the British people are fighting back. And conference? There's absolutely nothing that Labour can do to stop.
They want a new order, like. What happened to all the return to tradition shit? What happened to all the return to tradition shit? The issue is that British tradition, British returning to tradition, looks a bit like this. That's the thing, man. That's their problem. That's their problem. Is it returning to tradition in Britain? Looks a bit like this. Because Keir is the only real patriot in politics right now. And that's just facts. And that's just pure facts. Oh, I love when Kuihman plays this video. Yeah, it's a good video. The age Tony Blair now. Sorry, Tony Blair can't run our country right now. He's too busy solving the most intractable conflict in the history of the world. He's got bigger things to do right now. Yeah, sorry again. Sorry, yeah, he's saving. He's solving the most intractable conflict in the world again. You know, because he already did one. He already did the Irish. So, and he thought, well, you know, the Good Friday Agreement just wasn't quite enough. He has to make even more peace in the world, you know, because that's Tony Blair's legacy, really, when you think about it, is making peace in the world. Not only does he do the Good Friday Agreement, he has to then do Israel-Palestine too. So cool. So cool.
The only choice we have is whether we have the spirit to fight with them. Are we going to quit when the going gets tough? No. Are we going to dig deep and fight like never before? Yes. How long will our battle last? As long as it takes. Because Britain, for all its present flaws, is too precious to lose. Let me not see our country's honour fade. Let us see our land retain her soul, her pride, her freedom. Conference, every tide turns. I can feel Britain's fortunes turning. So let's pick ourselves up.
Yeah.
Let's dust ourselves down. Let's draw on Britain's greatness to make it greater still. Let's fight for a better future. Let's build this new order. Let's take our country back. Thank you, conference. Thank you.